And this is KC9VKV, and who we got on the other end there?
This is Chuck, November 3, Whiskey Bravo Sierra.
Roger, Chuck, and whereabouts are you located, sir?
Located on the eastern shore of Maryland, a little town called Federalsburg.
Roger, what's that close to?
Let's see, probably the best city to tell you would be like Dover, Delaware. I'm about 30 miles southwest of Dover, Delaware, right on the Maryland-Delaware line.
Roger that. Well, you sounded mighty good. What kind of equipment lineup are you running?
At the moment, running a Flex 6300, almost 1,300 watts out from a TL922 Alpha Kenwood amp. And the antenna is a full-wave delta loop for 40 meters at 50 feet there, over.
Roger, roger. Now, what kind of space does a full-wave loop for 40 meters occupy?
It's not too bad, probably about an eighth of an acre.
Roger. Now, I'm assuming this is a horizontal loop, Roger?
Yeah, horizontal, and kind of like between both horizontal and vertical. It comes down at a slope there, over.
Roger, roger. Now, slope. Oh, I had a sloping dipole that was really difficult to tune to get the SWR down, and I finally I lost my high position in the tree and wound up putting that high side element to about the second limb on that tree, which made it run almost parallel to the ground side of that dipole. And lo and behold, my SWR dropped right back where it should be, and you know, I just couldn't get that SWR down with the sloper, and I just came to the conclusion that there was such a difference between the high side and the low side of that dipole that it just wouldn't tune, Roger.
QSL, yeah, it all depends on how, you know, what the angle is too, with the inverted V-type configuration, if that's what you're talking about. But I didn't have that much problems tuning this. When I went off the spec, you know, through the mathematics, but it was about 3 feet too short to be where I wanted it on the band, and just add a 3-foot section to it, and right here it's about 1.3 to 1. So you know, I figured that's good enough. No sense in trying to split hairs there, over.
Oh, roger that. Now you're running without an antenna tuner?
Yep, direct right into the coax, or right into the antenna through coax.
Roger, roger. And can you tune from one end of the band to the other? I mean, usually, you know, you have build-up SWR on either end of the antenna or the spectrum, the band, Roger.
Yeah, it'll do the whole band. I mean, the phone portion pretty well, from, you know, 125 all the way up to, you know, to the end of the band here, in less than 2 to 1.
Oh, Roger. Now that 6300, that's not an SDR, right?
Oh yeah, it's 100% SDR.
Oh, Roger, Roger. So you've got the waterfall and all that stuff?
Yeah, it's got the spectrum scope, the waterfall, it's the whole 9 yards. It's all, everything's on screen. It's point and click.
Oh, Roger that. Now, where were you before you got the 6300?
I had a Icon 6500, and I had it for a little while, and but I figured I'd go with the Flex and see how that worked out. I wasn't too sure if I was going to like the SDR, but it grew on me pretty quick. I thought it'd be a lot harder learning curve. But it wasn't that bad. It took me, you know, a few days to figure it all out. But once you set it, you really don't have to do anything to it. Just go to whatever band you want to go to and what frequency, and you can pretty much make whatever filter you want with it by dragging, you know, how wide the filter is going to be without any issue. It's pretty quick.
Roger, did you notice much of a difference between that receiver and the receiver that you were using before that?
Yeah, this one's a lot better, to be honest with you. It seems to be, you know, way more intelligible. But, you know, this thing also comes out in stereo, so I got 2 Bose speakers hooked to it, so, you know, you got to give it to that, too. So a much nicer speaker system and in stereo, so it definitely sounds better.
Roger. Now, the stereo, is that two monos, or do they do a little stereo processing on that?
Oh, it's all processed. I've got a graphic equalizer for in and out on this, so I can make it whatever I want to sound like, in or out.
Roger. Ultimate flexibility, Roger.
Yeah, I guess that's why they call it a flex.
And whose microphone are you running?
I'm using a Yaesu MD100.
Ah, Roger. Now that's not. Well, let's see here. That's not a Bob Heil, Roger.
No. They recommend anything Yaesu with these guys. They just plug and play. You just screw it in there without any modification at all.
Roger. Now, do you have the bass unit for that? I mean, the microphone bass unit.
Yeah, it looks like an MC60 type microphone.
Roger. Well, it sounds mighty good. You got you're on top of it as far as EQ. It sounds really good, Roger.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I had a lot of help with it with some other Flex users when I first got this thing, and they spent about an hour with me on the air and really trimmed it out real well.
Roger, does sound good, sir. We appreciate it. And again, we are running our Qso-Vlog for Friday morning for our YouTube page. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will bring up our Qso-Vlog page. And usually we have so many folks in it that instead of being able to put it, each call sign in the title, we just call it My Group. And it goes then by date and by frequency. So if you want to, check out your station, which is sounding mighty choice, you would go to YouTube and do the call letter search, and then look for that Qso-Vlog for the date, which is what is that? 1018, and the frequency 7189. Roger.
So I'll look that up. Kind of interesting. So what got you into doing this?
Usually we post them up in about 2 days. We'll get it up there within the next 2 days, Roger.
Okay, well, I'll look it up. All right, I'm going to get out of here, and I'll say 7-3. See, I've been in here for about 3 hours with drag chewing, so I'm going to take a break and do some house chores here, because the day's actually starting to go by here. But I do appreciate you picking me up, and the Qso is excellent, and perhaps we'll run across you again here on 40 meters. So with that, I'll say 7-3s, and good DX, and have fun. This is N3WBS, Slower, Maryland.
Roger, Chuck. 3 is that away, sir. Sounding mighty good. We'll catch you later. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor.